The 2001 film, although filmed in 1999, Joyride. This was, of course, a prequel to Fast and the Furious. No, it wasn't. But it does have Paul Walker. Rest in peace. I think this is probably one of the first movies I saw with Paul Walker. Honestly, I saw this before Fast and the Furious. I know that.
I think I saw Fast and Furious first, and picked this movie up randomly at Walmart.
So anyways, today we're talking about Joyride. A little-known movie. Well, I say little-known, but I think that's a cult following.
Little-known my ass.
You think a lot of people have seen this movie?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen this movie.
If we went to Walmart and asked 10 people have they seen Joyride, I bet you 2 of them have seen it.
No, I bet you 10 of them will, because I will ask all the women who were in love with Paul Walker at the time.
Cult following, I feel like. People online have seen it, that's for sure. The people who have seen it generally pretty much usually give it a good review. Of course, maybe you have seen it because it has a strong supernatural connection, which all the damn movies we see have some kind of supernatural.
There is not a strong supernatural connection. It has one cameo by Jim Beaver, who played Bobby in Supernatural.
Well, that's, to me, a strong connection. Every damn movie we watch has somebody who was in Supernatural, right? Maybe God's telling me to watch Supernatural, but I think not.
No, that's exactly what he's trying to tell you.
Telling me to stay away.
He's trying to tell you to watch it. Robert Englund was in Supernatural.
So?
1 5-minute role, that's...
Robert Englund, bless his heart, has done many bad movies that I will never watch, right?
No, Robert Englund
like
should have been...
Midnight Man.
You have watched that.
Sadly, because of you, yeah. You forced me into it. Folks, that was an unreleased podcast that will never be released.
No, we'll eventually do it again.
I would never subject our audience to The Midnight Man. That means you'd have to sit down and watch it.
Or just watch our review.
Pray that you never are in a situation where Jigsaw has tied you up and forced you to watch The Midnight Man as your game that you have to play, because you will fail that game.
Okay, fine. We'll tie you all down and make y'all watch The Neighbor.
Oh my goodness. Another unreleased podcast. So this was like...
Well, that one was because there was really nothing to talk about with that one.
So this was what happened was at the beginning of the podcast, initially I was letting Nick pick our movies, and after about 3 weeks of that, we were like, nah, maybe not. So now it's kind of we take turns picking movies, and luckily Nick's selections have improved, although I think he was floating the idea of Killer Bong 2 last week. And that means nothing to me. I don't know who that is.
Tom, you never seen Cheech and Chong?
That's a Chong from Cheech and Chong?
Yeah, that's Tommy Chong. And he comes in with a damn chainsaw to try and kill the evil Bong. He has a fight scene with a Bong.
He would be in a Bong movie. That's
exactly.
No, because I don't want to be watching that and then be thinking about my hookah killing me, all right? I don't need that in my mind, all right?
Oh, your hookah's already tried.
It did. Folks, it sliced my finger. My hookah did, all right? The guy was talking about Killer Bong last week, and then my hookah came to life and sliced my finger, all right? That's not cool. And now I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about Death's plan has been set in motion because we're still owed vengeance from our Final Destination podcast. It's all coming together in a bad way, folks.
No, I get the feeling as long as we do these podcasts, Death will spare us.
Yeah, next time we miss a week, though. Yeah.
That or the fact that if anyone's watched Castlevania Season 4, Death isn't around no more.
Nope, nobody's seen that, so...
Well, there you go. I just ruined the ending for anybody who watches.
Yeah, I was going to watch that. Now it's over.
No, you're not.
Maybe. I'd have to watch the first 3 seasons.
And I think they've already announced the Season 5.
Yeah.
But they're pretty short seasons. It's like literally the first one's 6. After that, they're just 10 and 12 episodes.
As long as it's not 15 seasons, I can watch it, so...
Even if it was, it'd probably be less than 100 episodes by the end of it.
The cutoff is 15. If it's under 15, I'll watch it. But if it's 15 or more, I can't do it.
Okay, 16 or more.
So this movie actually was a Nick pick. Back when Nickelodeon was awesome. When you had Are You Afraid of the Dark and Rocko's Modern Life.
Which, if anyone wants to watch those, no, we're not sponsored by them, but go ahead and get Paramount Plus, because the entire series of Are You Afraid of the Dark, Kenan and Kel, Rocko's Modern Life, and any of the older Nickelodeon shows you can think of is actually on that streaming service.
Well, I do love orange soda, so I may have to partake in that.
And I have it, so I may need to partake in that myself. I've been watching Ink Master.
I'm paying for HBO Max, Amazon Prime.
Well, then get rid of HBO Max and get yourself Paramount.
I can't do it, man. HBO Max has a great selection.
Well, then
most of the movies we have podcasted are on HBO Max.
Or you go to a store that's not even 5 minutes away from the house.
That's a lot of work you're talking about, all right? Get out of here, all right? Next thing you're going to be telling me that I'm at the gates of heaven to actually make the far walk to heaven. No! Zombified. Forget that.
No, because if you look at certain people's renditions of the gates of heaven, it's never going to open for you.
That's true, and probably would be the gates of hell anyway. So,
well, then they definitely ain't opening for you. You're too happy and go-getter. He's too optimistic. Only pessimists are allowed to get those cookies.
oh, there's cookies.
Yeah, there's cookies in hell.
Oh man, damn! There better be some brownies in heaven. To make up for that, because otherwise, I might lean towards some cookies. So.
They're too tasty. They're not good for you.
That's true.
Remember, the tasty shit is the bad shit.
Let's talk about Joyride. Shall we get into it?
Yes, it has Paul Walker.
It has Paul Walker, Steve Zahn.
Lily Sobieski.
I'm glad you said it because I felt like I was going to butcher her name.
So I've heard it said two different ways. Sobieski or Soboyski.
And what is her nationality?
Beautiful.
I think maybe she's French?
Probably.
Because did you hear like she has a hint of an accent?
I mean, I can easily.
There.
I mean, I can easily look it up. I really don't give a shit.
No, that's a lot of work too. So.
Oh, and also another one, and this one is uncredited. Actually, two are uncredited.
Let me guess. Samuel L. Jackson.
No, I can't throw that. Oh, here's a crown.
He's not in this movie? He's in every other movie?
No.
I bet if we look hard, he's in there somewhere. He's at the rest stop or something.
So funny thing is, I thought he was as a cameo.
There you go.
It was when they were knocking on the doors trying to find the hotel room that the bad guy was in, that Rusty Nails was in, and that angry black dude came out. I was like, I said 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm sort of like, that's not Samuel L. Jackson.
See, look, see what I do. I start every movie with the assumption that Samuel Jackson's in the movie, but it's like, where's Waldo? I just have to find him. He's in here somewhere. Just got to find him.
So, Walton Goggins is actually in this movie, but in a deleted scene that never was released.
I don't know who that is. He's about as
I can easily tell you where he's from. Anyone who's watched Justified will know him as Boyd Crowder.
Nah, I don't feel justified to watch Justified. So.
Yeah, well, but the name I was thinking of was Ted. You can go fuck yourself.
Not in this one.
Not this time. Ted Levine, otherwise known as Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs or Bloodbath McGrath in Wild Wild West.
Wow. Not so much Wild in the Wild West, but on the Silence of the Lambs, because nobody should partake in Wild Wild West.
Hey, I love me some Wild Wild
Really?
West. Yes.
It's a good song, but the movie, blah.
I enjoy that movie.
Even Will Smith doesn't like it.
I don't care. I actually enjoy it.
He chose to do that movie over The Matrix. He could have done The Matrix.
Well, the only reason he chose that movie over The Matrix is because the woman he wanted to act with died in a damn plane crash. Then he backed out. Had Alea not died, and she was in The Matrix, he actually would have been a part of it too.
No, who told you that?
I did.
No, I'm talking about the first Matrix.
Yeah, so am I.
There was no role for her in that first one.
She was going to play Trinity. Alea was going to be playing as Trinity in The Matrix, and Will Smith was going to be Neo.
No.
Yes, you might want to look that up.
She didn't even die until like 2 years after The Matrix.
You might want to look that up, sir.
She died in 2001. The Matrix came out in '99.
You might want to look that up, sir.
He thought that Wild Wild West was going to be the big hit. The Matrix he didn't understand, or he couldn't conceptualize what the hell it was about. So supposedly.
That's what you say now.
Well, I mean that's what he says. So. There's a video where he explains why he didn't do The Matrix. So yeah, if you recall how the movie opens, we open with Paul Walker in his dorm room talking to Sobieski on the phone.
Yep.
And I guess they're trying to establish what their relationship is, which I don't know.
Well,
friends, they grew up together. What's their backstory?
They're childhood friends, and the only other thing we really understand is she apparently makes people cry when she breaks up with them.
Yes, and she just broke up with her boyfriend.
And now Lewis is like, I'm going to get some of that ass.
Well, I think Lewis sees an opportunity then to actually pursue a relationship he's never told her. So basically at this point he hasn't told her how he feels, you think? But she clearly knows probably in the back of her head because she'd have to be completely oblivious to not think that he wants to have a relationship with her.
Right.
So, does now Lewis, which is Paul Walker, on the spot, because apparently it's, summer vacation?
Yes.
So they're both going home to visit their families. And where is home? I don't know, but...
They never mention.
So basically, though, it's pretty far away. It's far away enough that Lewis has plane tickets to go home.
Yes.
But in a magical moment of coming up with a plan on the spot that really is kind of silly, but the man looks at his plane tickets and says, I got a car.
Which, can someone explain to me, how much did a damn plane ticket cost that he could then get a refund for it, take it, and buy the damn car? The car was $1,100. I've never bought a plane ticket more than $150,
Well,
and that's round trip.
you know how they don't mention where home is, right? I'm gonna surmise that home is in Europe. He ain't flying somewhere in America for $1,100. He flying to France on flight 180, right? That's what I'm thinking, right? Because the timelines match up well there.
For one, what do you expect him to do with the car? Is the car a hover car? Is it one of those cars that turns into a damn boat the minute it hits water?
He's not planning ahead. He's gonna drop her off wherever she's got to go, and then he's gonna go find a way to get on a plane.
And also, believe it or not, that plane tickets to and from France are actually still are not that damn much.
All right, look, maybe he's going to Mars.
At most, 500.
Maybe he's going to Pluto. I don't know, but the bottom line is, yeah, you're right. How the hell how expensive are these damn tickets? But anyways, what I'm more shocked by, not by that, by just the in the moment thinking up the plan of, hey, I can sell the plane tickets, or I can get a refund on the plane tickets, and then go buy a car, all to pick up this girl, who.
Remember,
I'm gonna see when I get home anyways because we're going to the same town.
Right, but remember, she's cute, but she's not that cute.
He even says that, yeah.
I mean, obviously as a joke.
That's a good flirtatious line.
But still, and one thing in my opinion is I kind of slightly understand it. One of my favorite memories is actually me and my wife driving to go visit my mom. We can take a plane, but guess what? Why take a plane when it's only a 12-hour drive? We see some beautiful scenery on the way.
I get it, but
and also you stop off at a hotel or two and get to have some fun.
Yeah, I get it, but in hindsight, okay, I understand the intention, but this is gonna be the beginning of their relationship being very underdeveloped as the movie goes on. It never really comes back to them exploring anything romantic or ever again, basically, in the movie.
Well, no, because almost immediately after they pick her up, Rusty Nails comes back. But we're not there yet.
No, not there. Don't stop spoiling it, all right?
Well, stop bringing it up.
I'm just saying, this is a hell of a plan he came up with, and props to Lewis for coming up with it. But, I mean, yeah, $1,100? So let's give him a break and say that he had $300 in the bank, and he just added that with the plane tickets being sold, and $1,100 magically appears, and boom.
So let's go ahead and introduce our other main player for this movie.
Mr. Steve Zahn, who apparently is a big screw-up.
Yep, otherwise known as Fuller in this movie.
Poor Lewis can't get 3 miles in a row without his poor mom calling and saying, your brother's in jail again. Which begs the question, how many times has he been in jail?
And what has he been doing? Like, what is causing him to go to jail? Is he doing scams? Which I'm guessing with his character, that's probably it.
I think the backstory is that him and Vivica were doing the credit card scam together, traveling the country from idle hands. Right? She was like, well, I'm going to go do this, like, demon thing. And he was like, oh, you're crazy. I'm going to go.
Did you cut yourself in this room?
No. But I actually, I came upstairs and was washing my hands.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that's I'll have to throw away. Yeah, so basically, Steve Zahn's been a character named Fuller. So
yep.
Fuller has been just traveling the country doing nothing, basically. It sounds like he hasn't been home in a long time. His parents haven't seen him in a while. She says the dad isn't even bothering with him anymore. He's not going to bail him out.
Right.
So we get a little insight into the relationship because good-hearted Lewis decides, hey, I'm going to get my brother out of jail because the state he's in, Utah, Salt Lake City, is somewhat on the way.
So I can also...
Good. What's the saying? You heard the saying that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. If he chose not to pick him up, this whole damn rest of this movie doesn't happen. All right.
That is true, but I've also noticed Fuller, even though his character, is a fun-loving person, he likes doing jokes, he likes being stupid. I've noticed he's pretty observant though. Literally in it feels like maybe an hour in this car, he already put together what Lewis was planning the whole damn time.
Is this where Lewis correctly surmises, no more bullshit small talk about me, my relationship?
I mean, that's one way of getting someone to shut the fuck up is drive off the road.
And Fuller's just like, so are you okay to drive? Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, he's basically what they're saying essentially is that Paul Walker is or Lewis is the naive little brother, and Fuller is the knowing of the world, basically. Like, he's been through experiences and stuff, so he's a little more street smart, a little more savvy about these kind of things.
Sort of. I mean, he still gets them in a stupid ass situation.
Well, yeah, to me, like, I mean, I love Steve Zahn, and this is going to probably be my favorite performance in the movie, but I'm not going to hold back on how much he screws them over and over again throughout this movie. He's the driving force of all the bullshit that's about to happen.
And the start of this screw up it seemed like a pretty good idea in theory, is that CB radio.
Yes.
I mean, yes, in theory, I can understand. Yes, you want to see if you can go fast or not.
It's actually a good idea, especially with the criminal mind that Fuller has. He's like, well, yeah, we can speed.
Right.
So this movie takes place in the 90s, I'm guessing, because it was made in 99. So CB radios, still common, still out there?
Yeah, I'm sure out of truckers, yes.
Even like with phones and stuff, they don't just use cell phones and stuff. There's not like a CB app on their phone. They're just
probably not, because I know the store I used to work at, they still sell CB radios.
Okay, so that's for truckers. That's always going to be sort of in style.
Oh yeah, and it's also, and think about it, with a CB radio, you pick it up, push a button. Anyone within a certain mile radius can answer you. You can just say, "Hey, is there any cops coming around?"
It's a great device for a horror movie because of that fact that if someone talks to you, they're in the area.
Yeah.
So immediately, if they hear from somebody, it's like they're in that 5-mile radius or whatever it is. So it's actually a really good tool for.
I mean, nowadays it's probably jumped up to like a 50+ radius, but.
Yeah. So they're on their adventure right now, and we're gonna basically. So Besky is not going to come into basically half of the movies,
right?
Eventually, but they're going to have their whole own storyline without her basically here.
And it starts off with Steve Zahn talking Lewis into playing a joke on Rusty Nails.
Yes, and I mean this is a joke on the level of like, is Fuller 17 years old, 16 years old? This is not somebody like an actual adult would actually do. I feel like this is like a teenage prank.
Right.
They're going to play a female voice, which Lewis does surprisingly well. He sounds like a damn female when he puts that voice on.
No, he doesn't.
I would be fooled.
No, he didn't.
You don't. I don't blame Rusty Nails for being a little bit fooled here.
Everyone, I think we found Vic's male crush.
Oh my goodness.
We found his boy band crush. It is Lewis, otherwise known as Candy Cane.
No, it's the voice of Rusty Nails. No, no. I'm just saying, like.
You like that Buffalo Bill dance.
He does a pretty convincing job. But what happens when a joke goes too far? I guess is that the underlying theme of the movie? What happens when a joke goes too far?
At least this first half, yeah.
So they're talking. Lewis is basically Candy Cane, the voice of female.
Yep.
Talking to a lonely old man named Rusty Nails, which at this point we know nothing about.
The only thing we know about him is obviously he is lonely, considering the fact that he's hooked into this line, hook and sinker.
Desperate for a hot date.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't take much for them to reel him in into meeting them at a hotel room at midnight, and
with a bottle of pink champagne.
Yeah, and my man Rusty probably pulled off the side road right there to plan out how to get that pink champagne because he's all in for this night.
Oh yeah, but first I guess we need to really go over the fact that what caused Fuller to decide to play this joke was later is, when they decide to make the joke, he gets body checked by some big guy.
Yeah, the asshole business guy at the front desk at the hotel is basically yelling at the hotel clerk.
Right.
And
not exactly saying nice things.
Yeah, but Fuller also interjects himself into it. And then is surprised when he gets body checked, but he kind of threw himself into it.
Well, yeah, but so his whole thing was, let's get them to meet. It'll be funny. One of them will probably get hit, whatever. Yeah, and then
it's a slippery slope because you have two. Here's the problem: you have two things you don't know. You don't know how violent the business person is,
especially right now because he remember 2 days without sleep. That will make anybody vicious.
So you don't know how he's gonna react. And then you really don't know anything about this Rusty Nails character either. So you're putting two elements together as a ha-ha, and
it doesn't go well.
This is too much, too far to me.
Well, we also find out it doesn't go well because the next morning cops come in and says, hey, let's take you on a little trip real quick. I think y'all know more than what and you see what happened to the guy.
Did you notice too when the cops first confront them, they think that the business guy hurt Rusty Nails.
Right.
They're like, who's the victim?
Right.
The business guy's the victim.
And that's why I think the cop then was like, I need to take y'all to somewhere real quick.
Yeah, this seemed like a lot to get them to admit.
So, like I said, with this probably is the only horror movie out there where the cops, or every single cop, is actually smart in a sense, because Steve Zahn has made himself completely look guilty by sitting there already assuming one guy's the perpetrator when he finds out he's a victim. He's like, what? And the guy's like, I think you did something. Let's go for a little walk.
Yeah. I don't know if it's necessary. I feel like the cop could have just been like, tell me what you did, but he takes him to the hospital.
Well, you say that without the actual proof of who's the victim. Steve Zahn's just gonna be like, I didn't do nothing. It's like,
the victim's in a coma.
Right. Well,
Chin's ripped off.
Yeah. Now that they know that, Lewis sings like a damn canary.
Yeah. And so, lucky for them though, the police pretty much let them off with no charge or nothing.
Well, remember how Jim Beaver?
I would throw him in jail for 30 days. That seems pretty serious.
So the captain, or Jim Beaver, Captain Ritter, sitting there screaming at him, saying that he would throw them in jail if he thought it would answer one of the many questions he actually had.
Yeah. So they get off scotch-free.
Well, sort of. He tells them to be out of the state of Wyoming by dawn.
I mean, they're leaving anyways. They're on a road trip. So basically, they get off scotch-free.
Yeah.
And did they take some kind of lesson from this? No. Fuller's still going to be a screw-up.
Well, yeah, because notice how when they finally tell Rusty Nails what happened, you'd think Lewis would be the one to apologize. No, he tries to get Fuller to do it, and Fuller's like, fuck you.
Well, this is another opportunity where Fuller screws them. Because at this point, I'm just going to go in the psychology of Rusty Nails. I think if you give him a legitimate apology, maybe he leaves you alone. But Fuller's got to be like, you're going to need some drugs, and asshole, the only thing I got to do is turn the volume knob down. Like
I said, you would...
Why? Why are you being so...
That's why I'm just wondering one thing. Why didn't Lewis be the one just to say it? Because he didn't exactly say which one had to say it.
He did eventually. He was like, Rusty, hey, it's me. I'm a guy. There's no candy cane. I mean, he says that, and then that's when he asks for an apology. But then
he hands it to Fuller instead of him saying it.
That's true. Maybe that was...
Because remember, Rusty didn't say which one of them needs to apologize.
Yeah, but you see how surprised Lewis was when he saw what Fuller said? He was expecting Fuller to apologize, but Fuller basically screws him in a big way, because what he doesn't know is that Rusty's actually behind them in the truck.
Yeah.
So Rusty has followed them from the motel or from the police station.
Oh, yeah. And the reason we know that is because he goes, you know, Black Sheep, you ought to get that fixed. Yeah, get what fixed? Your tail lights.
Why do we sound like Bane from the Dark Knight? Get the tail light fixed.
Otherwise, you're going to eventually find yourself in the dark.
You have to get the tail light fixed, or it'll be your enemy.
You fail. No.
The tail light is your enemy.
No voices for you, sir.
I used to be so good at them. Okay, so basically Fuller screws them in the worst way possible, because now they're being chased on the road by the damn truck.
Yep.
Okay, now this is like pet peeve. This is
a
little bit too convenient for the gas to be on E. They just were like in a whole situation where they were stopped at a town and they could have gas.
Yeah.
So that's for plot.
Well, here's the real question. How did Rusty know which car to start following?
Okay.
Or was Rusty just doing circles around this area until he picked somebody up?
There's going to be a lot of... We can figure out... Is Rusty... He's definitely not supernatural.
No. He's a normal person.
Being, but there is some leaps of logic he makes to make this all work. So one thing is, I'm guessing when the police are questioning Lewis and Fuller at the hotel, okay, we have to assume that somehow there's a big-ass truck nearby with Rusty sitting in it, watching the police questioning, and then watching the police take them away in the police car to go see the dude. So Rusty in the truck follows him to the hospital, and he's starting to think, these two boys, the cops are like driving them around, showing them they have something to do with this. So I guess he makes some kind of thing from that. Now, he's like, okay, something's going on with these guys, so I'm just gonna follow them and just see what happens. So he's following them, and then he's talking the thing, and remember, they just come out like, there is no candy cane, and now he happens to be behind them. It's a lot of work for him to do, basically, to, like, I don't know, most likely, okay, normally more like, he would have gotten the highway, he just killed the guy, basically. He would have gotten the highway and booked it out of town, basically.
Right.
But he hangs around town to see what's going on. I don't know, it's a bit of a leap.
But I will say this, then they do a red herring in this one for this next scene with the ice trucker.
It's amazing because they pull over.
And this is how red herrings should be, because to be honest with you, most people are not going to automatically, not going to continue suspecting you after a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And the ice truck driver, he has a damn pipe in his hand.
It's a tire thumper, it's not a pipe.
What is a tire thumper? Oh.
A tire thumper is literally just a big heavy block of wood that they're used to hit your tires to check air pressure.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if hit, it will hurt somebody.
So, what's good about this red herring is that I'm sold because when they book it out of there, he comes running out with the tire thumper like, you sons of bitches, like, he's like, wait, he is the killer. He's actually chasing them now. But, as it turns out...
He's just returning his MasterCard.
As what's funny, Flo was like, we got a gun, man!
He's just like...
A little bit of overacting myself.
He's like, and I got a MasterCard. Which one wins?
You know, of all the characters in this movie, this is the nicest guy. This dude went out of his way to return the MasterCard. After, he could have just, at some point, just said, F this, like, these guys will not just slow down. They're making me chase them. Right. He's a good guy. Now, unfortunately, in this movie, being a good person means nothing because...
Rusty Nails just power drives through the damn truck.
This is a great moment. Because,
I mean, what's great is you see the lights just slowly coming, then all of a sudden...
And they hear a sound, and they look, and they see the ice truck, but yeah, in the background of the ice truck, you see something coming. And
then, boom.
It blows the whole damn ice truck up. And immediately, I'm just like, you know, maybe we'll find out later, but I'm like...
Well, that guy did.
What happened to the ice truck driver? So, that damn truck is coming like 100 miles an hour, it feels like.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how fast it's going, but it looks like it's 100 miles an hour.
It's probably closer to 60, but it's still going to do some damage.
It's almost, I think they sped up the film or something because it looks like it's a lot faster.
But so they then try to outdrive them again on this dirt road and find themselves
against a tree.
Idiots. And
so this is where it's interesting because
this is probably one of the very first intense scenes that actually happens in this movie.
Because they're cornered.
Oh, yeah, they're cornered, and this truck's just very slowly just smashing them up against this tree.
Now they finally do what they should have done from the beginning, and they actually apologize.
Well, Fuller apologizes.
Which is really, I think even Rusty senses that there's a good brother and a shitty brother, and he wants a shitty brother to apologize. He wants that apology from Fuller, I feel like.
Well, Lewis never even tried to apologize, so it's not like Lewis is the... Because if Lewis still had the damn... fucking handheld in his hand, he should have been like, yes, dude, I apologize. I
get it, but from his perspective, what he knows is that Fuller's the one who's like, F you, man, you need drugs, I'm not doing nothing. He's the combative one. Everything Lewis has said hasn't been combative. He was like, sorry, man, we didn't say sorry, but he was like, it was all prank. Basically, he sounded apologetic. Right. Whereas Fuller sounded like, F you, man, so... He wants that apology now from Fuller, and he gets it, and...
he backs off.
Movie's over. We're good.
Sort of.
All right, folks, next week we're doing,
No, hold up.
Wait a minute, there's more?
There's more.
I turned the movie off at this point.
So first... Oh, shit. So I guess I gotta go through the rest of this. So they throw the CB radio away, they get the car fixed, then they get down to meet, Venna, Lily Saboyski's character.
Yes.
Oh, you completely forgot about her, didn't you?
No, that's when I turned the movie back on because I was like, wait a minute. They still got to get Venna, so I turned the movie back on, and now...
Okay. Excuses.
What I think is going to happen now, though, is that the scary portion of the movie is over, and now we're just going to get a romantic comedy with Steve Zahn, Paul Walker, and Elizabeth. So we're going to have a fun road trip movie now. No more of this killer truck driver nonsense. We're going to focus on these three characters and have a different movie now.
So we get our driving montage, which, again, has a few cuts where you get the love, I guess you can call it a triangle. But
a forced love triangle, let's be honest.
It's forced. Yeah, but you get...
This is a part of the movie where nothing's happening, so you have to... Instead of what I would like to see here is just her and
Paul Walker or Lewis.
Yeah, Ben and Lewis slowly talking about their feelings and like what they want for their future.
But the problem is, then you get Fuller coming up and go, "This is the part where you kissed the girl."
Yeah,
Which again,
fine.
which is fine. I mean, yeah, it made it a little awkward now, but it's fine. It just makes a very weird sense that now all of a sudden in the next scene, Fuller decides to go to her room to try and get her in bed.
This is like kind of
This is where it gets forced.
This is the first thing to me where it's like, okay, you know, you're talking about like how Fuller seems like a good dude, just like let's say he's immature or whatever, but still has a harmless spirit basically.
And throughout the movie, he never even shows any real interest in Venna except for this one scene.
Yeah,
I understand he's drunk, but
this takes a turn into just like unlikable asshole.
Right.
Because you already know how your brother feels about her, and now you've talked yourself into going after her. If they went, luckily this gets interrupted, but if they kept going further with this, they were going to take Fuller into a territory of like just unlikable character that we don't.
Where he would have been the antagonist, really.
Yeah, because he's like causing drama here.
That we did not need, especially since now Lewis is getting the call of Rusty Nails being the real wingman. It's like, why is your brother in the room with your girl?
Yeah. What's funny is Rusty's like, he's not here for vengeance. He's like, hey man, like you should check your brother, man. He's over there trying.
Right.
Like Rusty's like, I think he just made that call as like a brother, just like, hey, man, like I gotta tell you, man, your brother's up to no good. So.
Your brother's an asshole. Are you sure you don't need another brother?
It's funny if Rusty says that and just hangs the phone. Like, all right, man, I'm gonna go about my life, man. I'm getting back in the road. I just want to update you on your brother.
It's like, what?
Like, whoa.
Well, movie's not over because we'd still have to get through our love triangle. Oh, but no. Apparently, Rusty Nails is still after them because he's pissed that now there's a girl in the mix.
So, okay, now...
The real phone call...
Let's get back to the conversation also about... Because we were talking about something before, so I want to get back to this. We were talking about before the podcast. Was, let's try to trace back now, because when he let them up off the tree, right?
Right.
He sounded pretty satisfied with the conclusion of the story.
I was just fucking with you, man.
They apologize. They look like assholes. Their car's messed up. They're against the tree.
Yep.
He backs off and goes on his way. But then we have a leap to now where he's back and he has a whole new plan. He's even more pissed off than he was before. So it's like this escalated in a way. There was no real incident to escalate. It just he's back. But as we discussed, you thought basically.
So one thing they could have done is because when you first see him in his actual truck, you see a trailer attached to it. That trailer is transporting something, obviously.
I didn't notice that. That's a good catch.
So he backs off, and it's very possible. The reason I say it has to be the college town where he pretty much sees them again is where he's dropping his load off. It has to be the college town because then he kidnaps Charlotte. If he sees them somewhere else throughout the time, he would not have known about Charlotte. So it would have to be the college town he sees them in.
I had a big problem with the Charlotte thing because she appears for literally 30 seconds. She drives up, she has one interaction, she drives away. He has to be at that moment actually watching them specifically to then follow Charlotte and to get her. So he's in the college town, so you're thinking...
That's where he's dropping his load off.
Two scenarios, basically. There's him... actively following them, or him just happening to drop his thing off their trailer, and it just happens to be
a coincidence that he sees them.
For them, a coincidence, yeah. So you're thinking actually just literally like, he's like, all right, well, I'm back on the road, life's good again, dropping off my trailer. Hey, those sons of bitches. Oh, there is a girl.
Exactly.
I'm pissed off again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. Because he does say on the phone, he's like, I thought there was no girl. Pretty simplistic, but I guess, I mean...
You know, I thought you said there was no girl.
So that's just their bad luck, I guess.
And then Lewis tried to lie. It's like, but there is no girl. I was like, then what is she doing in the other room with your brother?
Now, when he says that, is Lewis pissed about, oh my god, Rusty Nails is back? Or he's like, he's in the room with my brother. What is he actually? He jumps off the bed and runs.
So, to be fair, at this point, Rusty Nails could just still be letting him know, hey, your brother's still trying to get with your girl right now.
I think he's being a good dude.
Not until we find out he put the CB radio back into the trunk of the car and then spray painted all those signs.
And this is done in a very cool way. The signs painted. They're driving. Ben is asking like, "What's going on?" He's like, we did something. he's explaining in a very complicated way. He's like,
We did something stupid.
Rusty Nails did something because we did something. I'm like, what? Who talks that way?
Ugh.
Just break it down to her. Damn.
He's afraid of telling her that, we played a joke on this guy, now he's trying to kill us.
Now, the traffic signs tell them to look in the trunk. And they find the CB radio.
Yep.
You know what I wanted to happen? You know what I wanted to see happen here in the scene?
Charlotte's dead body?
No. I wanted Sobeski, Venna, to walk in the middle of the road and say, "What are you waiting for?" Just one time. Just give it to me. What are you waiting for?
But
you had that thought. Think about it.
But she is not.
This didn't strike you as an I know what you did last summer moment? What are you waiting for?
Also, I get a real question. With their interactions, because he then tells them to go to the truck stop where he starts playing a prank on them, pretty much. He tells, Fuller and Lewis, get naked, go in, order cheeseburgers. While he starts talking to Venna. He's obviously not watching those two.
He's talking to Venna.
But
I didn't like the scene.
The reason I didn't like the scene is, are you telling me out of a truck stop, there's no other truckers on this same radio frequency to hear what they're talking about?
So, yeah, I don't know the mechanics of the CB radio. So basically, can they have private conversations, or is it pretty much...
Depending on if you're on a certain channel, anyone else on that channel will hear your conversation if they're within that same within a 5-mile radius.
So we have to assume that they somehow
on
a channel that's private to them or something.
But the problem is, you see the number say 19, and we established in an earlier scene, Fuller was talking to other truckers on channel 19.
Right.
So why are you all of a sudden having this conversation? Rusty Nails is just like gladly answering any question she had, really, on this radio frequency with other truckers around.
So basically, this is the limitation of the radio. I mean, I'm happy that I was talking earlier too. Basically, like, this is a movie where you can't with a cell phone. This movie wouldn't work, right?
Right.
So the CB radio basically is in place of the cell phone. So in a normal movie today, basically, it would be the killer truck driver talking to them on the cell phone.
Right.
In the directions. So,
Now, also, this...
But no, I didn't like this scene because this scene seems goofy. And, like, it's almost going for... Not comedy, but it's just weird.
Well, yeah, but I think...
Naked makes it weird.
Well, yes. I can kind of see that really Rusty Nails' main goal with this scene was he wanted to have a one-on-one with Venna. I think the reason the naked part was, you made me look like a fool. Now I'm going to make you look like a fool. You going in ordering like 6 cheeseburgers each, that's not looking like a fool. You going in naked makes you look like a fool.
Yeah, but they have the correct point, which is we're probably just going to get arrested. I didn't think about that angle, though. He's just trying to get a one-on-one with Venna. So basically, Venna is like, has caught his interest, basically.
Yeah. But
then after this, though, it's like
it's back to them versus him.
But and he's still not done with them. If I'm them, I'm like, well,
they still need Charlotte because he kidnapped Charlotte. But here's another thing. This is actually where, because there was 4 different endings, or technically 5 if you count the theatrical release ending. 4 out of those 5 are pretty much the same, just different continuities of what happens. One ending actually drives off from this point into a completely different direction of the movie. So,
okay. Well, I feel like,
I mean, yeah, we'll talk about the theatrical.
Yeah, let's not get extremely confusing now by going through all the endings at once. While we're doing the original ending.
No, so
I already would be confused if we're doing like a choose your own scare adventure. So.
Well, yeah, but
it's good to know. But let's save the endings for the end.
Yeah, because if we do decide to go through the other endings, we'll just keep this part in mind, that this is still going to be what happens. This is where we come back to.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll go with endings separately. And
and now we get
that's a great scene in the cornfield.
Oh yeah, this cornfield scene is damn. One, it's intense. It has a great, really old classic song weirdness to it when he starts playing his radio.
There was one part where he's actually chasing them in the field with his truck, and they're running. And I'm like, how is he not catching them? Like, he's going full speed through the cornfield, and they're running. And I'm just like, shouldn't he be catching them? Stop.
Yeah, but I'm going to ignore that.
And also, okay, so there's two ways to approach this. First of all, what was his plan here? We know we'll talk about what actually happens, but did he actually execute his plan of what he would plan for them to meet him at the cornfield? He pulls up in his truck. They surmise he's not stopping. He's chasing them. What is his plan exactly?
Well, his plan at this point actually is to kidnap Venna.
You think that was his actual plan was to kidnap him?
The reason I say that is because why, when he, as you brought up, he could have easily killed them a lot in this one scene. But instead, he actually gets out of the truck because he notices, because in the cornfield, he notices 3 different rustling of the corn. So obviously, these characters just split up.
But he got very lucky that they stupidly all chose to separate. Because what was his plan, for example, if just they all had stuck together? Because then he approaches them, but he can't really kidnap her now without. He's kidnapping her to mess with them, but he probably would have to kill them in order to kidnap them.
So when we go through the original ending filmed for this movie, we'll actually go over that.
Okay.
Because this cornfield scene happens again in the original ending, but a little bit differently.
It's just too confusing to incorporate all.
Exactly. So we'll just go to he kidnaps her, and we find this is where we kind of see the first look of Rusty Nails as person.
Yeah.
Played by the body version is played by Matthew Kimbrough.
And I'm like, that guy, he's the killer? Oh, they're okay. They ain't got to worry about nothing.
Well, you saw one.
Weren't you kind of like, that's the killer? That's Rusty Nails? That guy?
I don't know. He gets a hold of you, you're fucked still.
Man,
he's a big guy.
When I saw his face, I was like, man, that's the guy from the Waffle House down the street, man. I've seen him. He's made waffles for me, all right? I'm not scared of him.
So Rusty Nails was setting up traps way before Jigsaw was.
I guess so. I mean, he clearly knows what he's doing. These pranks and these things.
Well, remember, he sets up the shotgun trap in a sense where anyone turns the knob, that shotgun trigger is going to blow.
Yeah, Rusty, man, he's a very smart guy. This is really like an elaborate, brilliant setup he does there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
He has Venna in the hotel room tied to a chair with the shotgun facing her. And then the police come.
Yeah, he calls the police right at 12, like he said. He said, get to the hotel by midnight, and you will be able to see her alive again. Well, by the minute midnight comes, he calls the cops, so that way the cops can start breaking down the doors.
One thing we should mention also is they do steal a car.
Oh yeah, they do steal a car, and the funny part about this scene is another truck driver is he knew they were stealing it, but he was very inconspicuously telling them how to hotwire this damn truck.
Yeah, he helped them steal the car, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny because they steal and you see the other guy come out, hey, you sons of bitches!
That's my truck!
And the other guy must have been like, oh, damn. That's just a funny scene, and it made sense because the car, by the way.
Their car exploded.
Yeah, the plane tickets went to waste.
Yeah, they did. Poor plane ticket.
Yeah. So, stolen car.
But they got pink champagne in the process.
They do got pink champagne. But I gotta say, I love this ending. This ending is...
It's intense.
Suspenseful, intense, and the stakes, like... You know what I thought the first time I watched it? I was like...
She gonna die.
I thought one of our main characters is gonna die. I thought one of the 3, I thought probably something where one of the brothers is gonna have to sacrifice themselves.
Probably Fuller.
I was thinking Fuller could redeem himself by being the one who sacrifices.
Right, which he does a lot in the scene.
Because you want those 2 to live happily ever after. So I feel like they could have went that route. They didn't, that's fine, but I felt like there were some stakes, and I felt like they could easily kill somebody off.
Right. But to be honest, they don't, but this is still an intense scene, because after Fuller does get across to Lewis, don't open that door, Lewis goes around and notices his brother's now fucking hogtied, not really.
He's impaled by his leg.
Impaled by his leg, and then his hood wrapped around a wood post where he sees the truck now turning around.
Yes, and now Lewis has to attend to his brother, But then also,
the cops are breaking down the doors.
you gotta stop the cops from opening the door
So-
and having her get shot in the face.
As much as I'm fine with this scene, there's only one thing I'm not a big fan of, and that's the fact that the cops are literally breaking down these doors until it gets to the last two, and then they're just twist the doorknobs. It's like, why didn't you just continue breaking down the doors, or why didn't you just turn the doorknobs on all of them? Why change what y'all are doing?
That is a pretty big inconsistency. It's almost like for suspense in the movie, they have to open the door slowly.
Right.
But you're right, they would just be kicking the doors down.
Exactly. And to be honest, if they kicked the door down to the shotgun may not have even shot off because the saran wrap probably would have snapped off.
Interesting. So the whole thing might have been a fail anyways.
Exactly. But instead...
But I think one thing we can establish here is that Rusty intends for people to die here.
Right.
He's intends for her to get shot in the face.
So the minute the cops finally break down the door, Lewis did save Venna, and then he hears the truck coming.
Yeah, and he tells the cops, "Hey, don't be shooting me. I got my brother's back there."
And then
I actually think the cops probably would have shot. No,
I don't know, probably not, because he didn't have any real weapon in his hand.
Yeah, and he's basically saying I have to go, but they follow him,
And then they start shooting that truck. They hail bullets on that
The
mother.
truck's not stopping. And they start shooting, but then they just run away.
Well, yeah, they have to. The truck's not stopping.
All right. When the truck comes, you know what I was thinking of? Because he lifts them off the thing and they jump out the way. That damn train scene in Final Destination. I was thinking back to that because I'm like, it does a better job. Final Destination was horrible as far as
how the scene did it.
Frame it on, and you see the truck actually hit them when they're in the car.
Right.
This is like at least if
You
the truck
see them
slows,
actually
but
jump
you
out of
can
the way.
See them jump out the way. It's just a difference of like a better filmed scene of the same situation.
Right. I just feel
better
like very possibly the truck probably should have grazed one of their feet, maybe like Lewis's because he's taller. Probably hit him in the leg and broke his ankle.
Yeah, that'd been hard to pull off though on camera though.
Yeah, probably. But
And then if the truck hits his foot, I mean, maybe his foot gets decapitated and flies off.
yeah, well, then
It was a clean break.
yeah. But anyway, so now we get
And they find Charlotte.
they find Charlotte and they see a dead body. I can't say who because obviously it's not Rusty Nails. We already saw Rusty Nails a big man, and the person that's in this truck is not as big.
Yep.
And you see the ring.
This poor sack of guns in the truck we're about to find out.
Is the ice trucker.
And that was a mystery throughout the whole movie. I kept thinking, what happened to the ice truck guy?
He died.
Yeah, I guess now we know. But did he die from the impact of that, or did Rusty go back and kill him?
To be honest with you, I get the strange feeling what happened was he died by the cops shooting him. Because the way the way he was covered in blood, if you're dead, your blood's not going to pool like that.
So he was planted in the front seat, probably wounded, not able to move, but maybe still alive.
Yeah, so then when the cops started shooting,
Right.
yeah, exactly. Because like I said, the way the blood flowed down him, blood when you're dead will not flow like that.
Well, I'm thinking about the ice truck scene where the truck gets hit.
He could have survived that. He'd be in pain.
Because the impact was mostly on the ice truck.
Yeah.
Side of it. He's in the front, right? They're tied together, but not directly together.
Right.
So he would have felt a big jarring impact,
Oh, yeah.
but
He could have
it
survived.
doesn't strike me as like he would just be automatically dead. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
He has a seatbelt on and everything. So, and maybe that guy had the worst fate in this movie because that dude was a nice guy. He brought their MasterCard back even when they're assholes. all that good deeds just to be set up and killed by the cops, man.
Yep, pretty much.
What the hell?
You're
And Rusty Nails, home free. He's on the road, headed to the Waffle House on I-95. I like when it rains because I grow plants. And
So-
the rain helps my plants.
no. So I do love the actual ending line in this because the three main characters just have that what the fuck moment. Is pretty much then, yeah, they've already figured out it was the ice truck guy. Oh shit, the brothers did. Anyway, and then they hear Rusty Nails on the radio. Finally, he says, I love it when it rains. It washes everything clean. Pretty much stating everything he just did, he's never going to be found out.
Yeah, but it's pretty bold to be on the radio doing that. And my thing is, okay, the movie ends there, right?
Right.
But, okay, let's surmise. They heard that. They walk 12 feet over to the police force out there and say, hey, this asshole's still on the road. I'm thinking Rusty gets pulled over.
So here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. Rusty got rid of his truck. So which means he now has another truck with a different license plate and most likely a different color.
What they could do is, though, because there's one thing that the characters know is his voice. So they'd have to find a way, basically, to have them as witnesses, hear his voice, and corroborate.
Well, first they have to arrest the guy. And 5 miles, it may not seem like much in a car.
If they have enough to suspect that he is the actual person behind this, it would be worth them pursuing it.
Oh yeah.
And if the characters are adamant, he's still on the road, they're gonna put a stop point or something like that, and all the truck drivers are gonna have to go through some kind of, is this Rusty Nails? Is this Rusty Nails? It's gonna be like, basically, they're gonna cut off the road and investigate all truck drivers.
Oh yeah.
If he's smart, he's given up his life as a truck driver.
Which he doesn't, because we have 2 other sequels. However,
God, those don't exist to me.
Yeah. However,
okay, let's go to our categories.
Best performance, I'm gonna say Fuller.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, he's funny, he's charismatic, he's pretty much the life of the party in this damn movie, even though he's the reason for the situation.
Yeah, he's basically an asshole, and he does irk me with how much he causes the problems.
Yeah, but he does redeem himself throughout the ending.
He does, and he's the one moving the action forward. And Steve Zahn, and this is really about Steve Zahn, basically. He's a very underrated actor because he can do comedy and drama interchangeably in the same scene even. He can switch from comedic to dramatic. So that's my standout. The worst, I feel like, is probably, I don't know, nobody was really bad. Like, Paul Walker does what he needs to do, basically.
No, I don't. To be honest, I left out worst performance because you brought up that, since we do technically eliminate a character, that's pretty much your worst performance.
All right, well, eliminate a character.
Well,
Charlotte.
No one.
I'm eliminating Charlotte.
You're going to name Charlotte, but the problem is she does still have a point to play in this movie.
But
Because if he did not kidnap her, what reason would the 3 characters even have to continue this farce with them?
I got a simple fix for this. Okay. You just have him kidnap Venna a little bit earlier.
He doesn't even know about Venna until they get to him.
No, he knows about her when he calls the hotel room. He knows about her.
Yeah, but by that point, Fuller's already with Venna.
Fuller goes back to her room with the drinks to get hit on her. Right, the door is open.
Mm-hmm.
Knocks, looks in. She's not there. She's been kidnapped. Now, think about this. Everything going forward now is the same thing. They still go naked, cheeseburgers, all that stuff. Everything's still the same. It's just that you don't eat Charlotte.
Yeah, but the problem is we don't get that one-on-one with Venna, trying to give Venna the impression that the reason he's doing it is not because he's a bad guy, but because these 2 did something stupid.
That went out the window when he has her tied to a chair with a shotgun. I thought there was some connection there, but he's just going to kill her mindlessly. She's just a pawn. I'm just saying, Charlotte, okay, but you have to stretch the believability for him to happen to see Charlotte for 5 seconds, make some connection there. Charlotte could have stopped and just said hello, and there could be no connection there at all. He's kidnapping her like they're supposed to be like care about Charlotte.
There's a good chance. There's a good chance he talked to her before he actually kidnapped her. Talk to her, find out what her relationship with them was. He could have went up and was like, hey, I'm somehow related to these 2. How do you know them by any chance?
That trucker-looking dude is going to walk up to her in her car, and she's going to give him information?
Yes.
What world do you live in?
A lot of them.
Without actually...
A lot of worlds.
And plus, by the way, he's going to walk up with that damn Rusty Nail voice.
Yes.
Candy Cane, can you tell me about your friends and that other girl? And she's going to be like... This is his last name. This is their relationship. Hey, do you want to kidnap me? You can use me for leverage. Are we just making Charlotte a complete idiot?
I mean, she is blonde.
Look, there's nobody we can... There's not enough characters to eliminate somebody. I'm just saying that. That's the way you could get around the pointlessness of Charlotte. You didn't kill her. There was no point to her. So.
Yeah, anyway, so...
At the end, she's not even bait anymore because you already have Zobeski. There's really no point to her at the end. So.
Anyway, so we now also get our... so what's our best scene? I think we're both going to agree because we both kind of already said it.
I got 2 of them, though, that are equal to me. The ice truck scene and then the ending.
For me, is the corn scene.
Oh, yeah.
Cornfield.
No, I still got the ending, though.
You still choosing the ending?
There's so much suspense in that ending. But also the ice truck scene, though, is actually amazing.
Yeah, but there's also so much suspense in that cornfield scene.
They're all good. They're all stand-up.
Oh yeah.
The worst thing to me is the whole in-between thing of where they're pushing the love triangle thing.
Oh yeah.
And the bar, if I could fast forward one thing, it'd always be
that bar scene.
Just get right back to when Rusty calls again. Like that would, if that was the movie, that would have been a horrible, uninteresting movie. If they went that direction.
Yeah, and what would you wish they explored more? To be honest with you,
the easy thing is to say Rusty. I mean,
yeah, but to be honest, I'm not going to say that this time because do we really need to know more about this guy?
Oh no, I got an easy one. I wish that you could have two more scenes of Venna and Lewis connecting romantically.
Okay.
They drop that completely and it never resurfaces, and it makes that opening seem silly that he's willing to do all this just to pick this girl up, basically, and then he never actually talks to her romantically for the rest of the movie.
So for me, it's how did Fuller even get in jail in the first place?
What do you do?
Exactly.
Credit card scam.
Ah.
Vivica got away.
Ah.
And she's off somewhere.
Well, no, I get the feeling Vivica's dead because remember Uma Thurman killed her in the beginning of Kill Bill Volume 1.
So we're just putting all the universes together. I try to connect them when they make sense. He just put Kill Bill there too.
I mean, but that's because Vivica A. Fox was in it.
All right.
That's her trilogy.
That's cool. And she got there after surviving Independence Day.
Exactly.
Okay. So, all right. Final thoughts.
So, final thoughts is we get great cast of characters. We get extremely intense scenes, and we get a villain that is extremely intimidating, even when all you hear is his voice.
Yeah.
Because to be honest with you, the only thing you see with this villain, for the most part, is a truck.
No, but when you see his face, you think Waffle House.
So that's why I kind of liked the original ending better, because you never see his face in the original ending. You just see his shadow.
I could have done without seeing his face.
Yeah, if they would have just shown you the truck, and you kind of put your mind together on what this guy probably looks like.
Oh, by the way, worst scene, I'm going back. Worst scene actually is them nakedly ordering 6 cheeseburgers.
Agreed.
I could remove that scene.
Okay, yeah, agreed.
Yeah, sorry. Cool.
So, overall, I'm going to give this movie a 3. I mean, yes, there was no real negatives about this movie, but at the same time, you just have to get your mind set up to watch a movie like this. It's not really, I wouldn't say it's fun. I mean, it is. It's hard. This is one of those movies that everyone is going to have different opinions on, and you just have to be into this kind of movie.
Yeah.
It's not like a movie where I can universally tell anybody who likes horror or thriller, you have to watch this movie.
No, because it's not. So I'll pick up from there. Yeah, it's in a weird category. It's not really a true horror movie. It's more of a thriller,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not a slasher movie. It's borderline horror. It's whatever category The Hitcher is. The Hitcher's not really horror either per se.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. This is not gonna be everybody's cup of tea. I could say like if you like The Hitcher, you'll love this. If you like that movie called Breakdown with Kurt Russell, Duel, the first half of Jeepers Creepers, like basically road movies. Basically, it was like a road terror type thing. You'll like this movie. Yeah, I like the whole cast. I like the characters. The movie has a certain intensity to it, and it has this nice little breaks, but it always picks up the action pretty quickly. Like there's no, maybe the first 5-10 minutes, but once Fuller comes in the picture, it's pretty much never boring.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very quick paced movie too. I looked it up. I was surprised that it's actually only an hour and 36 minutes. This is like a really quick hour and a half movie.
That's probably why the pacing felt so correct.
Yeah, they cut all the fat out basically. This is like non-stop action pretty much. So if you like this kind of movie, then you're gonna like this a lot. It's underrated. I'm gonna go with 3 stars also. To get to like 4 stars for this movie, you could raise the stakes even more by even getting to know the characters more. But
Or you kill one of them off.
kill them off, but I would have liked the stakes would be raised even higher had you given them even more character moments. So because they wanted to cut the fat off to keep it super lean and super fast paced, they abandoned all character stuff like 20 minutes in basically.
Mm-hmm.
But there's enough there to still sustain. So I'm gonna go with 3 stars. You will be, if you're looking for a movie to you're looking basically like a just kind of a laid back night, you don't want to think too hard. You don't want to be like nothing too dramatic, just something quick, fast paced before bed. It's a perfect like kind of late night movie for sure.
Oh yeah. So everyone, you have a good day. It's not nighttime.
Yes. Have a great day.
And also rest in peace, Paul Walker.
R.I.P. Paul Walker. If you ever have nobody seen the movie The Skulls with him and Joshua Jackson, it's actually pretty underrated. Tammy and the T-Rex, as Nick had pointed out earlier. Everybody's seen all the Fast and Furious movies.
I was about to say, yeah.
I mean, everybody's seen that. I'm trying to think about recent stuff he did. That was pretty good. Do you ever see Brick Mansion?
I actually own it.
Oh, there you go.
It's fun. I mean, it's just a mindless action beat 'em up movie.
Running Scared?
That was a pretty good one.
That's pretty good. Yeah, he has some other good stuff. I didn't really like Into the Blue.
Take care, and remember, don't listen to Vic when he tells you to do something.
That's true. Except when I tell you